Hi, this is Mrs. Zhu, and today in class we started the interactive notebooks, and actually we're going to be redoing all of that. What you need to bring to class tomorrow is you need to bring a notebook that is preferably a graph paper. If you can't find one that's graph paper, then just lined paper. And make sure that the lined paper has to be college. Now, if you already do an interactive notebook for science and other classes, then it's the same for math. The pages have got to fit into the notebook. So it's got to be a specific size. We're talking about a plastic cover, not a paper one. If I sold you one that wasn't, feel free to return it. That was my mistake, and I will give you a refund. Make sure to also bring white glue. Elmer's is the best. Now, where can I find these notebooks? You may, Target has them that are lined though, as well as Staples. So if you can't find the graph one, even I had trouble finding the graph ones. I only found them because it was the beginning of the school year, and at that time they have a lot of office supplies and at like Walmart and places, and I was able to find a graph one. But if you're unable to find one, the line ones are just fine, and we'll find a way to get your graph papers in there when we do graphing. And so because of that, the table of contents is actually going to look a little different. So whatever you did for your table of contents, we're going to scratch that and we're going to start over. So sorry about that today for periods 1 and 2. We're going to redo our notebook today, right now. Now, it would be best to start a fresh notebook, a fresh new notebook. If you don't mind starting in the middle and then finding a different notebook halfway through the notes, then feel free to do that. You're just going to have to carry around 2 notebooks when we do a notebook check. So yes, we will also have notebook checks at the end of every section, and we will do that together, just like you do them together and for each other in your science classes and maybe English. So if I started on a fresh new notebook, we're going to have that. We're going to have table of contents written at the top, and I'll always keep a running table of contents in class. We're not going to make any more columns like we were doing. We don't need our rulers. We're going to simplify. If you want to just make one line down the middle, one will always start on the right side of the page, so that's going to be your table of contents, and we are going to number the table of contents just to make it a little simpler, I think, for all of us. And if you want to number it at the top of your page, number 1, then feel free to number it at the top. I don't really care that much, actually. But it would be best if we do whatever you've already been doing in your science classes. Let's also do that same thing. Okay. In math, we're going to have 3 pages of table of contents, and then we're going to start on page 4 for our notes, and that's notes number 9. And that's the worksheet that I passed out in class. It's on commission and simple interest. And then page 5 is going to be homework number 9, a worksheet. A worksheet. Okay. Tonight, please print the worksheet from Edmodo so that you have it and actually get started on it tonight for homework. If you don't finish it, we're going to work on it in class tomorrow so that I can help you with it, since I'm not there to take notes with you, and you'll be given a grade for the effort that you make on that homework assignment, the worksheet that you need to print from Edmodo. So whatever table of contents we did in class, we're starting a whole new one, and this is what it's going to look like. The only difference for math is the number of pages you may be using for your homework assignments. And if we know how to hinge our papers, you're going to be hinging your homework number 9. If you print it back in front, then we're going to hinge that into our notebook. And if you're not really sure, don't glue anything in yet. We'll talk about it tomorrow in class to clarify any questions that you have. We're going to take it slow. Okay, so back to the worksheet though. Here is the notes. So right up here, I'm going to write notes number 9. It's on commission and simple interest. Okay, the first part of our notes is on the left side. Feel free to always use a pen, use highlighters to help you with your notes. Just make sure your homework is done in pencil. Starting with number 1, as I read the question, I notice that I need the information 15%, commission, and the $5,220. I'm asked to find how much did Vera earn in commission in December. So I'm looking for commission. The commission is the extra money that Vera makes, and it's always a percentage of the price. Step 2, we have all the facts that we need, which is those 2. Step 3, I'm going to break down the problem by taking the sales total, which would have been the $5,220. The rate of commission happened to be 15%. So really, I'm again just picking out the information I need. Step 4, it tells me exactly what to do. I'm going to multiply the total sales with the rate of commission. So I'm multiplying these two numbers together. Now, this would be the equation way of solving the question. I would take 5,220, multiply it with 0.15 using a parentheses. And then at the bottom, I have a little bit of space to work that out. And what I'm going to get after multiplying, and if you wanted to use a proportion, 15 over 100 equals x over 5,220, that's fine too. This worksheet itself is going to not use a proportion. My answer is going to be $783, so that's what happens after I multiply. And that's my commission, the extra amount of money that Vera gets to make. Let me show you the math in case you messed up there. Okay, and then when I added, that's how I get 78300 with a decimal there. Okay, and then over here, we're going to talk about simple interest. So with my highlighter, I'm going to highlight, I need that she borrowed $1,500 and her rate was 11% for simple interest, and she borrowed the money for 2 years. Now it says that she's making no payments for 2 years, and then how much interest will she owe at the end of the year. So I'm looking for simple interest for step 1. And the formula for that is I equals P times R times T. So this is really important, our formula. Now I equals PRT, I remember it by remember I par T. Okay, so if I have my little disco ball, there it goes, all the lights and the action, and there's the people dancing with the music. Okay, woo! You know, they're dancing, and see? And there's my little disco ball. Okay, and that's I par T, and I'm able to find out how much interest. Now the interest is the extra money that I have to pay, because when I borrow it, I do have to pay them some money for letting me borrow money. So I'm going to skip down to step 3. Well, here in step 2, what are the facts that I need? Cross off the facts that you don't need. Well, I know I need this amount that I'm borrowing, the percent that I'm borrowing, and for how long I'm borrowing it. And then I don't really care that it's a computer business. It could have been anything, really. So I'm going to break down the problem. The loan amount, the amount I'm borrowing, is $1,500. The rate is 11%, which is 0.11. Okay, and the number of years is actually going to represent the time. So when I look at I par T, the P stands for the principal, the R is the rate, and the number of years is the T. Okay, now time for I par T is always the number of years. Now that's really important, because if it said that I borrowed money for a decade, I would need to represent that in 10 years. If I said I'm borrowing it for just 6 months, now 6 months would be half of a year. So then for the T, for the time, when I use I party, for T I would use half, or 0.5. Here the number of years happens to be 2, so I'm going to use 2, and it was going to work out just nicely. My simple interest is I multiply all those three numbers together. 1,500 times 11% times 2 years. So I'm multiplying 1,500 times 0.11 times 2. And if I do that, I'm just going to multiply 1,500 times 0.22. And 0.22 comes from 0.11 times 2, which makes 0.22. So rather than having to multiply too many decimals over and over, I'm just going to do it once here. And when I multiply my numbers 0, 0, 0, 3, 0, 0, 0, 0, 3, giving me 3, 3, 0, 0, 0, and that is going to be a decimal here. So my simple interest is $330, and that's how much extra I have to pay for borrowing that money. Very good. And please make sure you print out the worksheet for the homework and work on that. And we'll talk about it tomorrow in class.